The hard left continues to have a meltdown over the government's race report, and we expose the Labour Party's hypocrisy over identity politics. Well, here I was thinking and hoping that an investigation and a report will come out on some sort of issue and the left will just accept it. But no, as usual, I was wrong on this because the left don't ever accept things that they don't really like. This report that was published and conducted by a group of individuals who were at the time endorsed by the left, this committee that got together, very diverse. And the left said that, okay, this is going to be good. Let's wait for the report to come out to say whether the UK has a systemic problem, an institutional problem, or not. It came out and it said, no, it doesn't. And now they're kicking off. It's the same. Reminds me of what happened recently with Nicola Sturgeon when the inquiry was happening into Alex Salmond by the Scottish Parliament. Nicola Sturgeon was saying that we have to wait for the committee to decide. I believe in the committee. And when they came out and said that she has misled Parliament, she said, oh, well, it was all just crooked. They're all crooked. They already knew what they were going to do. Now the same thing's happening. Kemi Badenoch, who is a very sound Tory minister, one of the good ones, has come out to completely slam the left and the Labour Party because they're still complaining, saying that this is abusing. This is just appalling and abusing this report. It's so controversial and insulting for saying that the UK is a good country. But okay, let's get into this because she delivered a statement, Kemi, earlier today on Tuesday, defending the findings and dismissing the criticism by left-wing campaigners, and obviously painting them as, this is just willful misrepresentation of what's actually happened, and it's just bad faith. Now, of course, she has to thank the commission and defend the balance of it, and she's proud of it. This is one of those things that the government just had to do because of what happened last year with the BLM movement and all the lefties and academics kicking off. And they were supportive of it until the result. So they've come out now to say that it doesn't really matter. They've sent threats to Badenoch. And, she's received a lot of threats and, of course, abuse. But clearly, it doesn't really matter. Her skin color, in this case, doesn't really matter because she's basically white at this point. So you can target her. It is wrong to accuse those who argue for a different approach as being, racism deniers or race traitors. It's even more irresponsible, dangerously so, to call, ethnic minority people, racial slurs like Uncle Tom's, coconuts, and everything else. But that's the thing. She gets it. She gets those abuses. I get it. I get the same sort of insults by the left. The same left that try to defend equality and fairness and justice and, compassion and #be kind. Unless you're not one of them, then your skin color doesn't matter. It's the same with being a woman. If you're not left-wing, you're basically not a real woman. So they can target you with your usual comments about being female. So this is what Kemi said, and she's absolutely right. But the shadow equalities minister, I love how that's even a thing, but this is the parliament we're dealing with. So she's come out, the Labour Party, to say that this report is a shoddy point scoring. Okay, this whole dilemma that we've had within the political class for a long time is going to continue to escalate thanks to the American export of the BLM mentality, the Marxist mentality in general, just the crazy side. It's not really just that they're socialists in that sense. They're just authoritarian statists because they got the coalition of different groups inside the BLM. So this is absolutely spot on when it comes to people like Kemi standing up to them. Because when you have the Shadow Equalities Minister coming out to say that following the BLM movement, this commission had an opportunity to meaningfully engage with structural inequality and racism in the UK. Well, we had an opportunity and they supported it until the result. Now she says, instead they published incoherent, divisive and offensive material that appears to glorify slavery, downplay the role institutional and structural racism, and blame ethnic minorities for their own disadvantage. Well, I read the report. It did not say that. It did not, firstly, glorify anything. It did not blame any individual or a group of people for their own disadvantage. It doesn't happen. This is not how reports come out from governmental reports or even independent reports. They don't write controversial things. But clearly they've been reading a different sort of report because They say that if left unchallenged, this report will undo decades of progress made towards race equality in the UK. It's interesting though, isn't it? Because for some time since this debate started, over the last few years, our side, my side, we've been saying that we have made a lot of progress. Look at our society. Look at the country. Yet the left said, no, there's no progress in this country. Everything's terrible. It's getting worse. And then they say, oh, well, we made a lot of progress over the last few decades, and this report's completely destroying it. Wow. Firstly, so we've made progress. Secondly, clearly the progress we've made is so feeble that a simple report will completely destroy it. Okay. Now, this is funny. This next line is brilliant. This comes after the UN working group of experts on people of African descent yesterday published scathing criticism of the Race Commission's findings that there is no evidence of systemic racism in the UK. Okay. The UN working group of experts on people of African descent. The United Nations are criticizing us. Oh no, what do we do now? What? The United Nations are criticizing you, and you have to basically change your mind. Are you really going to rely on that organization to be fair and just competent in general? So clearly the Labour Party are now pro-UN. Every now and then they keep changing their mind. When Jeremy Corbyn was around, they didn't like it. Now they like it again. It's the same Corbynistas, by the way, but the weather changes, the Labour Party changes every 10 minutes. So then they say, this attempt to normalize white supremacy, what? Oh, okay. What? I don't know where they hang out. I don't know what parts of the country they're talking about. Are they talking about this country? Or, because if you want actual systemic problems and also on societal problems when it comes to race, again, go to different continents. Go to Asia, Middle East, Africa. See how they deal with people with different skin color. Not the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So this is absolutely astonishing. And then they keep complaining there's systemic problems on the police as well. Now, I have my own problems with the way the police have been managed recently by the police force and politicians. And this is the point. A lot of the issues that we've had from the wokeness of the police with the rainbows and unicorns to the double standard policing, don't forget, blame their bosses. Blame the politicians and ministers and everyone, and also the head of the Met and people around them, because the police watchdog, those are good guys. They're saying that the police officers are just confused by the lockdown rules. They don't know how to actually enforce them. What can you stop people for? What can't you? And so that's why we've had all these issues throughout the lockdown. The police have been completely all over the place, and we have some bad police officers who just want to take advantage, and some of them are just confused. The review of policing says that officers sometimes just struggle to enforce the restrictions because of lack of clarity from ministers, and this is absolutely spot on. And they said that it's essential that the police do not become seen as coercive agents of ministers and government, and that's true, because right now that's what they are. They are basically the agents of ministers. The government and Matt Hancock and everybody else make decisions and send the police there, and they take all the blame. And that's not right, because yes, I am definitely not happy with double standards of policing and the waste of time, and also we're spending all this money on a lot of police officers just sitting behind computers and dealing with online harm instead of actually dealing with problems on the streets. But this is all coming from the management and politicians, and for example, the head of Met and everybody around them. So the decisions that are being made is just political, wrong, immoral, and of course counterproductive. Yet the BLM movement and all the other lefties are still blaming the police. The actions of the police have been on your side recently, because they're so afraid of criticism in the media that they don't even tackle the protests that come from the hard left. But yet we have to listen to the Labour Party saying that this country is not a tolerant country. Sure, okay, dear. Just want to give you this update. I'll come back tomorrow with some more updates on what's happening in the country with lockdown, with the SNP, and what's happening with the European Union, because this relationship, post-Brexit Britain relationship, is not going down too well in Brussels. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi. I'll see you guys in the next video.